What's up? Anthony Monetti here. June 1st, 2015. Project My Life. Things I had going on right now. Let's see, today is Monday. I'm about to interview Todd Durkin, which is, those of you who don't know Todd Durkin, he is Under Amour ambassador, men's health ambassador, also trainer and coach, and creator of Fitness Quest 10 out in San Diego, California. He's also an alumni of Brick High School where I went to school, and I've always heard about him. Obviously my coaches and teachers were talking about this guy Todd Durkin, and he's become, you know, a huge, inspiration to not only me but thousands and people out there, for what he's created, his uplifting spirit and unconditional, um, just positive attitude toward getting better and just achieving more. And he's agreed to come on my podcast today, which is super awesome. So I have that lined up later on today. Going to ask him a bunch of questions about business development, training, philosophy, how he's overcome some pretty big tragedies in his life and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I have that going on later on today.
This is Todd Durkin. I'm here with my man Anthony on Project My Life.
Hello,
Anthony, hey, Todd Durkin, how are you?
Mr. Todd Durkin. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm getting even better. You've been, honestly, one of my top 10 influencers in my life. I mean, you haven't even known it, but I went to Brick, and Brick raved about you. Brick Township, Coach Warren Wolf, the father, the son. They just talked about this guy Todd Durkin, and as I got older, I did some research, and I really found out what kind of guy you really are, and just super inspiring. And when I started this podcast thing, you were the first person I thought of, or one of. Yeah, man, who I wanted to get on here and just pick your brain and see what makes you tick, so to speak, and what keeps you so successful and such an up-spiriting guy all the time. And I'm trying to maintain that positivity, but it seems like running a business and pushing myself to market myself and just get out there to the masses. It's not that easy. And I've read your story, and I know you've been through some struggles in your life. I just want to pick your brain and see what makes you tick and what keeps you going. So yeah, I mean that's where it's at. And the podcast is all about Project My Life. So it's all about people just overcoming obstacles and creating their best life, so to speak. And obviously you've done that. And yeah, so that's where we're at. Before
let's up. Yeah.
Go. I just if you can just give me a sound bite so I could start the podcast.
This is Todd Durkin. I'm here with my man Anthony on Project My Life.
Awesome, bro. Sounds good. Cool. So give me a little story how you ended up playing pro football in Australia. Let's start with that.
Okay, so I started playing pro ball over. Actually, I was in Europe. I was over in Germany. I had a tryout for a program that was going to be going to Asia. And what happened was a coach really liked me at this tryout. He brought me over to Germany. I was playing in Berlin. And then from Berlin, I got traded over to the World Football League. I was playing for the Amsterdam Admirals in the World Football League. And then the following year, I went down to the south of France. I was playing for the vaulted Can Iron Masks.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where I was in the mid-'90s. I was playing over in Europe. And instead of going to the military, I was using football as a means to see Europe and travel, have fun. Still get a chance to play some ball and enjoy some life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
And you got hurt, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
So what happened was when I was in France, I was a quarterback, and we were playing Aix-en-Provence. And what happened over there was I was on a long 3rd and 12 play. I scrambled, picked up the first down, did a hook slide to avoid getting hit. And what ended up happening was 2 linebackers came in and took their helmet, sandwiched it in the lower back, and I ended up with 3 herniated discs, spinal stenosis, degenerative back disease, and I was basically incapacitated. I had a nurse come into my condo twice a day to shoot me up with painkillers. I couldn't get out of bed. I was stuck over there for about 6 weeks. before I could actually fly home back to the U.S., back to New Jersey, and begin my rehab back on the shore. So that's how my football career ended, with a back injury. And it's kind of interesting, sometimes I think when you're at your lowest of lows in life, for me, I had always dreamt since the time I was a young boy growing up back in Brick, New Jersey, of playing pro football. When I realized that dream was over, I had to really dig down deep, and I went on a spiritual journey and a real introspective time to try to rediscover my own dream and what that was going to be and how I was going to reinvent myself. So I spent the next 3 to 5 years really seeking out mentors and gurus and people that could help me get out of pain without having surgery, and people that could help me with body work and training and corrective exercise. And for the next 5 years, I was really all about healing myself and learning about the human body.
That's all. I think that your darkest moments really, really, like you said, make you do some self-reflecting and slow your pace down a little bit and really, get a handle on who you are and what you really want to do. That's super inspiring. So you never ended up getting surgery, right?
Yeah, no, never had the surgery. I was fortunately able to avoid the surgery. Yeah.
How did you stay so positive during that experience?
I think my faith. I mean, just honestly, it was a time where, whenever you go through a lot in life, you either go one way or the other. And I just had a faith that God had a plan for me. And I was really relying on that. And I had no idea what that plan was. But I had faith that I had a story that was going to be special. And I didn't know how all that was going to come to fruition. But I think it was more of just really diving in deep, spending a lot of time in prayer and meditation, and spending time investing in me, saying, I just want to keep learning. At that point, I was in my late 20s. I just wanted to keep learning about me and go deeper and deeper on myself. And even now, I always say, you can only take a client on a journey as far as you've taken yourself. And I didn't know it then, but I was really working deeply on myself back then.
That's awesome. Any advice for people who struggle with that? Because I see a lot of people who they need that. I believe it's, like you said, two things: either having faith or having fear. And if you could, take fear out of the equation, only thing left you have is faith. And you may not know exactly what it's going to become, but you just have faith in some positive, future. I deal with a lot of people who, same kind of field, but we'll get into more of the business end a little bit. How do you advise people who kind of struggle with that?
Well, I think fear is a real emotion, and most people have fear. But unfortunately, a lot of times fear paralyzes people.
Yep.
And it keeps people from doing things that they should do or that they want to do. So I always say it's okay to have fear. Matter of fact, fear can help propel us and motivate us to take action on the things that we need to do in life. So I believe that, when you recognize fear and that you are aware of fear, and that you rely on your faith that there is a greater plan for you than maybe you even know, that you use that for you. So I'm okay with knowing that there's fear in life, but I just want to make sure that whatever my purpose is and whatever one's purpose is in life is that we have the courage to actually live out what we're supposed to do.
That's awesome. Now, from that, back it up a little bit, you developed this Fitness Quest 10 in San Diego. I would love to come out there and check it out. I mean, it's on my bucket list, actually. What you've worked with, you're ambassador for Under Amour, TRX, Men's Fitness. You've worked with some of the best pros, literally, in their game: Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Shaun White, and the list goes on. It's interesting how you've developed this kind of superstar factory out there. And, I'm trying to develop something, a little boutique style, which is growing. And I feel like I'm making progress, right? But it's hard to see what you've developed at my stage right now. It's like, wow, I have 5 employees. How does this guy handle 35 employees? How does he do it? And was that your ultimate vision when you started it?
No, it wasn't my vision. It was, in the beginning, it was all about survival.
Right.
It was just me, and it was about survival. And, I left L.A. I was in L.A. An entertainer named Michael King brought me to Los Angeles. And as a matter of fact, Michael King, who owned King World Productions, they produced Oprah Winfrey, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. Michael had a place back there in Bay Head, New Jersey. He actually just ended up passing away last week at the age of 67. But he's the one that's responsible for bringing me out to the West Coast. And then when I went down here to San Diego to grad school, I think the whole purpose of me was in the beginning was I just want to help people. And I left LA because I want to start working with some more athletes versus just the Hollywood industry. And I worked for close to, over 2 years with just the quote, let's call it normal, everyday, regular, average population. It wasn't the athlete population. But little did I know that one of those ladies that was coming in was the wife of a San Diego Charger. And it was Vaughn Parker who came in, who was a lineman at the time, who eventually introduced me to the athletic trainer at the Chargers. They were looking for a massage therapist. I became the sports massage therapist to the Chargers. And then that's when I met my first athlete I ever worked with training here at Fitness Quest 10, Ladainian Tomlinson.
Wow.
LT was the first round pick for the Chargers. He was, bigger than life here in San Diego. And he simply said, Todd, I hear you do some unique functional fitness type training, and I'd like to work with you when the season's over. And I said, awesome. And that was just the break, Anthony, that I needed at the time. And, sometimes you just need one person. You need that break. And Ladainian opened up doors because he brought in Drew Brees. Drew's been with me now for 12 years. And in the athlete community, it's all word of mouth. It's not like you can advertise to them and they come in. It's word of mouth in that community. So I had a break back in 2002 that allowed me to start working with athletes, and it all stemmed from me really doing a great job with the average fitness enthusiast that were looking to get fitter. And someone like me told her husband about how I could help his back pain he was experiencing, and lo and behold, next thing I know, I was training a lot of the pro athletes.
Wow, that's awesome. Because I've noticed in the beginning a similar story where I want to help everybody. And I came at it, I started my business and I'm like, I want to help everybody. And like you said, it's a little bit of it's about, surviving and just, just having money come in and being able to, keep your lights on, so to speak. But then as I'm narrowing it down, there's some demographics that I choose not to work with. I don't want to say that I won't work with them, but I really try to, have that. There is some overlap, so to speak, but the deeper I get into business, I'm learning that there's some people that they have to want it, and they have to, I can only lead them so far, and I get frustrated because they're just not they're not ready mentally, and sometimes physically, but I'll help them with that. But mostly it's that mentality that they just don't have. So is there a certain demographic that you don't work with? I know you have a wide range of trainers out there, but is there certain people that you won't work with or stuff like that?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, now we have a team of 38 employees, and 17 of those are trainers. I specifically work with a lot of the pro athletes in town, and that fly in to work with me. So I also do some regular fitness classes still. I love teaching the average person that comes into the classes. I don't do many one-on-one sessions anymore with people that are just coming in to lose weight. We have a great team of people that I lead that do all that work. So, I'm specific with my niche now. I love working with athletes. I love teaching larger classes where I can fire up the energy and create a great experience for everybody and motivate them and inspire them. But if you were to take a sliver out of Fitness Quest 10's day, you see kids training here. I'm looking out the window now. I see a group of 80-year-olds training here, and those 80-year-olds will often train right next to NFL superstars.
I love it.
So it's a real melting pot of everybody. If someone wants to get better, our whole culture is about trying to help people be the best that they can be.
That is awesome, because it leads me to my next question in culture. And you're always a positive guy. Every time I see you on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you're just always putting a positive message out. And I do my best, and I know it takes work, and I'm getting my mind. I do my headspace meditation in the morning, but how do you maintain that solid, positive culture all the time? Is Todd Durkin like a gem where he never has any kind of negative thoughts, or is there something is any kind of advice you can give me to just keep that culture? Because in the beginning, honestly, I hired personalities instead of positions, and it definitely wasn't a good way to build a team. So I've rerouted my business, and I'm building from the ground up, so to speak, again, and I'm learning to hire positions, people that I need, and hire them based upon that, not friendships and emotional. So I'm curious as to how you keep that culture thriving on a daily basis with 38 employees.
Right. Well, first and foremost, I always say is a leader of one, a leader of many. If you can't lead one, you can't lead any.
Mm.
So how do you lead yourself first? So if I'm not at my best, then I can't be good for anybody else. So I've got to make sure that I am adhering, really strictly disciplined about my best practices. What I'm doing in the morning, what I'm eating, how I'm training, who I'm surrounding myself with, what material am I reading, watching, listening to. Because I realize that everything that you do in a day, what you read, what you watch, all there's a chemical reaction that happens. So I'm very, very disciplined about what I do. And it's not that I don't have bad thoughts or bad things don't happen. No, absolutely. But I know that what I really try to allow into my brain, and I try to not associate with energy vampires and people that suck the energy out of me or that are full of negativity. I really try to protect my energy and take care of me first, because when I'm feeling great, then I know that I can infiltrate positivity and energy to all of my staff, to all of my clients, the people I come across in the industry. So first and foremost, I think sometimes you just have to take a look at your best practices. And for many people, sometimes it means being more selfish with your time and scheduling your time when you need that and honoring that. I've also always had coaches in my life, not just athletic coaches, but for the last 10 years, I've had different coaches in my life, mentors and coaches on the business side, the spiritual side, the leadership side that actually that I surround myself with and learn from, so that's a mindset of continual growth. And when you put yourself in a mindset of growth, then I share that with my team and I communicate that with my team. A lot of fitness professionals say, well, I can't find great people. Well, of course, there's not a lot of great people just walking out there looking for jobs. There's a lot of good people, and good people need to be led. And there's not a lot of great leaders out there. So how do you hone your leadership and set expectations and provide feedback and praise people, acknowledge people, make them feel special, make them feel acknowledged, make them feel valued? I think those are all things that great leaders do. And again, while I'm not perfect, I certainly strive to be a leader where one's going to feel better about themselves and feel empowered and inspired for, number one, where they work, and two, for the job they do and what they're creating.
Wow, that's awesome. What is your first hour a day look like, Todd, if you're willing to share that?
Yeah, well, the first thing I don't do is I do not turn on my phone. That's a key. So, like, what you don't do could be as important as what you do.
Sure.
Because what I realize is when I turn on my phone the first thing in the morning, I start getting tweets and emails and texts. And if I do that and I start responding to everything, my day is done. The day is already controlling me versus me controlling the day. Yeah. So before I turn on the phone, which is when I'm done with my morning routine, which is going to be constituting of at least 10 minutes of quiet time where I get my prayers in. I'll sometimes journal in the morning, and I like to work out in the morning. So between prayer time, meditation, and workout time, and that workout, I have a home gym as well as Fitness Quest 10 here, where I'll get my time to make sure that I get my workout, and I get my quiet time, I get my flexibility. And a lot of times when I'm working out, I'll listen to podcasts. And the podcast, just like you have your your project, My Life. It could be on leadership, it could be on business, it could be on spirituality. Depending on my mood for the day, I'm trying to fuel up my own self for that day. Then when that's all done, and I'm done with my morning routine, then around 6:30, 7 o'clock, then I can turn on the phone, have a healthy breakfast, and take the kids to school and be ready to rock and roll.
That's awesome. It seems like there's no coincidence that all successful people in the world do something similar along those lines. It's a matter of just fitting it into your day and making it happen. But a lot of successful people have the same kind of procedure. Good stuff. Real quick, do you have any coaches' recommendations that you would set me up with, or someone in my shoes looking to get some more leadership and coaching guidance? Any coaches that you recommend?
Well, I'm biased, of course. Okay. What I've created here is I've actually we have 4 coaches in my mastermind group that lead our mastermind program. I've been part of different mastermind groups since 2005, and all in different areas. And when I created my mastermind in 2007, we have different levels of our mastermind group. And they're from all over the world. It's all virtual. on that stuff, where we do coaching calls and live events. Our next live event's going to be in Colorado in September, and on that stuff. So if it's in the training world or business world or personal development, obviously I'm biased, because what I do is I take the lessons I learn, and the 4 coaches that help me lead the mastermind group are all, actually one of them is back in New Jersey, Frank Kucher, Kelly Corsante's up in New Jersey, Larry Indiviglia is here in San Diego, and then Jared Cogswell's out in Portland, Oregon. But we have coaches and trainers from all over the world that are part of our mastermind group, and those lead our different teams of people. But I mean, I've had different coaches. Robin Sharma was one in the leadership world. I was part of his program. It depends on what aspect you're looking at. There's great coaches all over the place. I think it depends on, what your actual goal is.
Where can I find more information about your Todd Durkin Mastermind Group?
I would say the best thing for anyone to do if they're interested is just to email me, Durkin@fitnessquest10.com. Durkin@fitnessquest10.com, and I'll send you all the information. There's nothing better than just a personal email on that stuff, and I can send you that. ToddDurkin.com, I believe, has some information on that. People typically will seek us out, or they'll go to a live event, see me, and I'll just say, hey, drop me a line, let's connect, and I'll make sure you get taken care of and put you in the right group, and we have all the information I can send out. So just Durkin, Durkin @fitnessquest10.com. I can send anyone all that information, or go to ToddDurkin.com, and they can get some of the information there as well.
Awesome. I'm going to follow up with an email once we're done with this, because I'm very intrigued. I would love to be a part of that. All right, so we have like 9 more minutes, man. I'm going to just fire some quick questions off at you. Your best tip for somebody like myself who's looking to expand their audience and grow their brand. You've become, quite the social media, monster, so to speak, in a good way. Any tips for someone like myself trying to grow their brand?
Well, first and foremost, pour into your people. I think, there's a lot of people that are trainers that they're not even training people anymore. They sit behind a computer and they just think that they're an expert. So I think, I think it's great nowadays with technology like you're doing, Anthony. This is fantastic. You're leveraging and scaling your message to a much broader audience outside, of New Jersey and the East Coast. So I think, you can, that's one tip is, leverage and scale technology. I mean, you connected with me via social media.
Yeah.
So it shows you the power of social media and how, nowadays you're within a couple steps of meeting anyone that you want to meet.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important list. One of the gals I learned from back in 2007, her name was Allie Brown. She now really focuses more on female entrepreneurs. But one of the lessons she taught me in 2007 was you have to build your list. You have to build your list. Your list of the emails. So how do you build your list? So if you were to go to fitnessquest10.com, my site, you would see people opt in to get their free 30-day program. Well, I can't tell you how many people actually book consultations because they come in, because what happens once they give me their email, I follow up via email. And it's an autoresponder sequence that they get, and we bring them through a 5 or 7 autoresponder email sequence based on them opting into the list. And ultimately, hopefully, if they're in town, they book a consultation and they may start training with us. So I think one of the most important things for a trainer that's looking to build their book and to become busy as a trainer is build your list. Or if you're somebody going to have a program or product that you want to sell, you got to have people to sell it to. Right. So building your list is something that's important. But I think the big thing is just ABDOV, A-B-D-O-V. Always be delivering outrageous value, whether it's with your clients that you're training, whether it's online. Whatever you say you're going to do, go above and beyond that. I call it and then some, to make sure you do a fantastic job in delivering outrageous value.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Favorite book recommendations?
Oh, I've got a few. I've got a bunch. Matter of fact, I have a blog post. If you guys email me, I'll send you. It's like 28, my top 28 favorite recommended reads. Start with Why by Simon Sinek, I think is awesome. It's all about remembering why you do what you do. It's your purpose. And so many times in our industry, we burn out because we give so much and we forget the why. Right. So you could get that in an audio book as well. I've listened to that book 3 times via audio over and over. I like Darren Hardy's Compound Effect. I like what Darren Hardy's all about. on that. As a matter of fact, his entrepreneur roller coaster book that he just came out with is awesome as well. The old 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, fantastic. That's a classic. And the book I'm reading right now by Brendon Burchard is Motivation Manifesto. Motivation Manifesto. I'm reading it and I'm like, wait, I'll write that. Wait, I'll write that. I'll write that. So it's like, dang, I like Burchard's book there. It's a lot of things that we're in sync on that aspect. But yeah, Motivation Manifesto is a great book as well. There's a ton more of books as well that I'd recommend. You could take a look at the blog.
Awesome. And I skipped over a question. I'm gonna go back to it. What's your most valuable lesson learned from the development of building your Fitness Quest 10?
Well, I think there's a couple lessons that are really important, but I think the one that is most important that often gets neglected is because we love what we do so much and we spend so much time in here, in your business, training people and building up, your clientele and building your community, is the importance of stepping away from your business to work on your business. And that's the strategy. One thing I've learned from successful entrepreneurs is they know where they want to go in 25 years and in 5 years, and it's not just a series of reactions of what's next. They set out a plan and a strategy. That's what I actually focus on in my 3.5-day mentorship. I only do it once a year now in October because what I recognize with a lot of fitness pros is they're busy and they work to get busy, then they get busy, then like, what's next? I'm tapped out. Right. So I believe working on your business and working on your life and your strategy of what you want out of your life, how many days do you want to work, a week or a month? How much money do you want to make? How do you see yourself being the biggest impact to humanity that you can be? This is all comes down to literally creating time in your schedule to work on your business. That's a lesson I didn't do early on, and I just was in the rat race. And when I actually started to really carve out time to do that, it's amazing how many things actually happened because I was saying yes to what I do want and no to what I don't want. And people are like, well, how's that happening? Well, because there was intention, there was an actual plan, there was action, and then there were results.
Awesome. Work on your business, not in it. Let's tug on your fans and followers' heartstrings a little bit. If today was your last day on Earth, God forbid, what would you say to your fans and followers, Mr. Durkin?
Wow, deep question. I like it, Anthony. I like it. Well, I would say I can summarize my life in 3 words, and I think those 3 words are passion, purpose, and impact. And I think the things that are most important, that regardless, whether I'm talking to my 3 kids, my wife, any of my 38 teammates, or anyone that's in the industry or anyone at large, is find your passion. You got to play with passion, man. You got to have energy. You have to have enthusiasm. Don't chase the money. Chase the passion. What do you love to do? Find that, and doors will open up. So awesome. Find your passion. The second is purpose. Is discover your purpose and realize that sometimes the darkest of darks in your life is when you go deep and you pray about it and you feel lost and you search for faith and you surround yourself with people of faith and you pray and you find your purpose. And when you find your purpose now, then that's a conviction of what you must do. And I think all of us have to find purpose. It's not just about living for X amount of years. It's living with purpose, a purpose-driven life. So I believe when you combine passion and you combine purpose, that allows you to create maximum impact. At the end of the day, on the last day, what I want to know is how many people have I impacted? How many thousands, 100,000s, millions, or billions of people have I impacted? And I think that's a question that all of us want to know is, have we left this place on earth here better than we found it when we came here? So what I would say is, if we live with the words passion, purpose, and impact, then we've lived a life worth telling a story about. And I think all of us have a life worth telling a story about, but it's up to us to create the story that we want to live.
Man, that's the true meaning of Project My Life. Thank you very much, Mr. Durkin. Real quick, how do we keep up with Mr. Todd Durkin? We're at like 29 minutes and 30 seconds. Fire it off. How do we keep up with you?
I love it. I think a couple things. My Facebook Facebook, just Todd Durkin FQ10. I love Twitter and Instagram. My handle is my name, @Todd Durkin. You can always find out more at my website, todddurkin.com. And of course, if you're in San Diego, want to be in San Diego, our facility here is fitnessquest10.com, fitnessquest10.com. Other than that, drop me an email, durkin@fitnessquest10.com. I'll get back to you guys. Anthony, I appreciate what you're doing, man, to make the world a better place. If there's anything I can do to help you or your followers, don't hesitate to contact me, man.
Thank you very much. I would love to get out there to check out your facility. More importantly, I would love to do like a New Jersey-based, fitness expo and have, some people who have drifted away into the West Coast come on back to the East Coast and do some powerful, passion, purpose, and impact on these people over here in the East Coast.
I like that. Well, keep me posted. Let's make it happen.
Thanks so much, bro. Have a good day, man.
Thanks, Andy. You as well.
Thank
Peace.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.